JBNN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Centon police upgrade crash to murder investigation. The Centon police are probing an incident that has been upgraded to a murder following a crash in Fatesman in the parish early Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as 47-year-old Dane Brown, a delivery truck driver of Severite Drive, Kingston 11. It is reported that about 5:30 a.m., the police were called to the scene of the crash, where they found Brown slouched over the steering wheel. He was cut from the truck with the assistance of the fire brigade. During the processing of the scene, what appeared to be a gunshot wound was discovered to the right side of Brown's chest. He was reportedly transporting food items to the western end of the island when the crash occurred. According to investigators, observations made at the scene suggest he crashed into a utility pole after losing control of the motor truck. It's reported that following the crash, several items from the truck were also looted. Investigators have recovered some of the stolen items and are urging residents of the community to cooperate with them as they seek to bring closure to the matter. Anyone with information that can assist is being asked to contact the Monique Police at 876-973-0451, Crime Stopper 311, the Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Men killed in St. Anne train crash identified. The two men who died as a result of injuries they sustained when a bauxite train crashed in Retreat District, Brownstown, St. Anne on Sunday have been identified. Dead Shane Powell, a security guard of a Clarendon address, and Orlando Brown of Brownstown. Reports are that about 10 p.m., both men were aboard the train when it developed mechanical problems, derailed the track, and crashed in a gully. Both men received multiple injuries and died on the spot. It was reported that firefighters had to be called to the scene. In a statement today, the company said all rail operations have been suspended pending the completion of a preliminary assessment. It is said it is offering support to affected employees as well as the families of the deceased men. I know that employees will be deeply moved by this tragedy and urge them to remain focused as the company carries out a fulsome investigation in concert with the relevant internal and external authorities, said Vice President and Country Manager Delroy Dell. The company said that detailed investigations are ongoing into the cause of the derailment. It expressed condolences to the families, friends, loved ones, and colleagues of the two deceased workers. Ochiris primary teachers walk off the job after altercation. Teachers at Ochiris Primary School in St. Anne today staged a protest after the institution's vice principal was allegedly attacked by the mother of a student over a cell phone. According to sources, a teacher confiscated the cell phone of a student who was using the device while class was in session Monday morning. The phone was handed over to the school administrator. It is said that a friend of the student, whose phone was seized, alerted the student's mother to the incident. She went to the school and demanded that the phone be returned. An altercation ensued and teachers withdrew their services in condemnation of the mother's actions. Jamaican woman reported missing in Trinidad. A 32-year-old Jamaican woman has been reported missing in Trinidad, prompting the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, to issue a statement asking for the public's assistance in finding her. Though her name was misspelled as Kimberly Lamont, the woman's actual name is Kimberly Larmond. Larmond lived at Orangefield Road, Chase Village, and was last seen on November 19. She was reported missing at the Freeport Police Station on the same day. However, the TTPS did not disclose who filed the report. A description of the woman was provided. Kimberly is of African descent, a Jamaican who is 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a medium build and a brown complexion. Missing person reports usually indicate details about what the individual was last seen wearing. However, no such information was included this time around. Anyone with information on Kimberly's whereabouts is urged to call the Freeport Police Station at 673-0026, 800-TIPS, the police at 555-999-911, or any police station. Information can also be shared on the TTPS app. Meanwhile, some of Kimberly's loved ones back in Jamaica have been posting on her Facebook page, expressing disbelief and sadness over a sudden disappearance. They are pleading with locals to contact the police with information on her. First court appearance for accused drug traffickers in $100 million bust. The 8 accused drug traffickers, who allegedly tried to smuggle cocaine worth more than $100 million out of Jamaica on board a cruise ship earlier this month, made their first court appearance today. The 7 United States nationals and 1 Jamaican appeared in the St. Ann Parish Court on charges of conspiracy, possession of, dealing in, and taking steps to export cocaine. They will, however, remain in custody for another week because the case file is incomplete. The accused drug traffickers are scheduled to return to court next Tuesday. According to police reports, the group disembarked a cruise ship which arrived in Ocho St. Ann from Miami, Florida. Anomalies were detected in their luggage as they attempted to reboard the vessel for departure, the police reported. During a search by members of the Police Narcotics Division, a total of 24 packages containing 17 kilograms of cocaine were allegedly found concealed in their bags. Investigators charge that they are part of a transnational drug trafficking syndicate. Victoriatown residents angry at mob killing verdict. Patrick Mathias, brother-in-law of Chieftain Campbell, was beaten by a mob in Mandeville and later succumbed to his injuries, said hearing news that the cab driver charged with his death was set free has caused him to relive the trauma of the murder. Mathias, popularly known in the community as Shive, said Campbell, 62, was everything to him. 6 months after the May 6 brutal beating along Manchester Road, Mathias says he still cannot come to grips with his friend and brother-in-law's death. There's not a day when we don't see each other. Right now, him would the right to now. Him would drive on right now, he said in an interview. Taxi operator Orlando Powell was implicated in the mob killing, was freed of murder last Wednesday. The charge against Paul was dismissed after Parish Judge Monique Harrison found that there was insufficient evidence linking Paul to the murder. An angry Mathias said the community stands united in deploring the verdict. I just said the system almost feel right there, so. You can't have mob killing and then you go hold on pan one man, and I know one man there on the video. So I tell the people them say not now come out of it, because there's no way one man can go down for a mob killing, he said. Mathias is perplexed to this day that no one could have intervened to break up the brawl and save his brother-in-law's life. Heartbroken, Mathias walked away during the interview and started sobbing uncontrollably, looking on helplessly, and at our concerned stares, one of his friends said, "He'll be alright, he just misses him." Pointing to a domino table in front of the shop, the friend said that Campbell would go there every night to play the game. Anthony Edwards, another man from the community, said that he and others felt caught up about the judge's ruling. He believes that justice has not been served. Miss Florence, another resident of Victoriatown, is also displeased that no one has been held accountable for Campbell's death. "Me hurt, man, I feel offended. Somebody must pay the price. That man no trouble nobody," she said of Campbell, who she had known for 5 years. As for Mathias, the verdict has opened up old wounds, leaving him awash with tears. He's also peeved about the sharing on social media of a video of the deceased man's pockets being emptied by a thief. Montague presses for visa-free travel to the US, UK and Canada. Robert Montague, chairman of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party JLP, is battling for law-abiding Jamaicans to be allowed visa-free entry to the country's major trading partners, such as the United States, Canada and the United Kingdom. Montague, who made the suggestion while speaking at the 79th annual conference of the JLP on Sunday, said that he wanted the party to engage in internal dialogue to arrive at a common position on the issue. He said the party would then broach the issue with the government. According to Montague, if the government found favor with the proposal, it could then have talks with its major trading partners on the issue. In an interview at the end of the conference, Montague said that the United States currently has a program where it offers nationals from several countries visa-free travel to the US. According to Montague, persons who take up that offer can go onto a site and register and answer certain security problems, and periodically, whether it's annually or every 2 years, you'll go and update your information. He said that the security systems of the US, United Kingdom, Canada, and Jamaica are in sync, so you can pull information and verify the information. The St. Mary Western Member of Parliament said that a visa regime is always there to sieve out, and I'm saying why sieve out the law-abiding, because if the thing worked, those persons who the PM spoke to who are directing crime would not have gone. In his presentation, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that the government was in talks with its U.S. counterpart to crack down on Jamaican dons who are influencing crime in Jamaica. Montague insisted that law-abiding Jamaicans should be rewarded with visa-free travel to Jamaica's major trading partners. The party chairman said that under Jamaica's farm work program, 99.9% of the workers returned to Jamaica. We don't want to run away, but once you have the opportunity, you can go when you want and come and go. Jamaicans don't want to leave Jamaica, he said. With a new king having ascended the throne in Britain, the country where the seat of Jamaica's final court is situated, Montague questioned, should an immigration officer determine whether I can go before that court to seek justice for a wrong that has been done to me? He said that the current U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, N. Nick Perry, was born in Jamaica, so he knows and understands the ethos and culture. We also have one of the most experienced ambassadors to Washington, and importantly, we have a Jamaican in the White House, Montague said, referencing Vice President Kamala Harris, whose father Donald is Jamaican. So the time is right. We have a convergence of things for us to make the call, but we can't make that call until the party would have distilled, discussed, and come to a common position, Montague said. Jamaican and U.S. officials in talks about stemming the flow of guns to Jamaica, says Holness. Jamaican authorities have been engaging with their counterparts in the United States on further measures that can be taken to stem the flow of illegal guns into the island. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the discussions are focused on greater security measures at the country's ports, including securing more scanners. I've put to our U.S. friends, they need to require greater identification for persons sending packages to Jamaica from the U.S., Holness said on Sunday, as he delivered the main address at the Jamaica Labour Party's annual conference inside the National Arena. With the gun being the weapon of choice in upwards of 80% of the more than 1,200 murders committed in Jamaica each year, the government and the security forces are stepping up their efforts to remove the illegal weapons from the nation's streets. A gun amnesty that ended on Saturday yielded over 90 firearms and more than 2,500 rounds of ammunition, according to the Prime Minister. And more than 650 illegal guns are being seized each year. However, pressure was being placed on the Holness administration to increase its lobby of the U.S. government regarding the flow of guns from the country to Jamaica. Holness said his government will be going further. We'll also be opening discussions with our U.S. friends to have special operations to target Jamaican dons overseas who are using their resources and influence to solicit and direct murders here in Jamaica, he said. He told the conference that for too long, foreign dons have been able to get away with this. We're going to ensure that they can no longer stay in another country and direct crime here, he assured. He blasted those persons for engaging in activities that he said are destroying the communities they left behind. Personally, I think it is a shame that someone who got the opportunity to migrate would use that opportunity to seek to make their community a living hell for the people they have left behind, the Prime Minister stated. Instead of sending back computers and assisting with school fees, they are sending guns and bullets to encourage you to kill your brothers and sisters. They mean us no good. They must be arrested and locked away for good, he remarked. Holness vowed that will put a stop to this. And he noted that it was not only criminals overseas who were remotely promoting crime and murders in Jamaica. In our local prisons, criminals are conducting extortion operations and directing murders right out of our prisons, he said. To curtail the long-standing problem, Holness said he has given instructions for the construction of a high security, the design for which is now complete. He acknowledged that the project has been on the books for some time, but said the design and costs were not finalized. He shared that the new prison, which he described as a project of strategic national interest, will make it difficult for inmates to communicate with those on the outside. The Prime Minister also pointed to the new corrections bill, which includes criminal penalties, including stiffer custodial penalties for correctional officers who assist prisoners in obtaining contraband such as cell phones. PNP to decide on SOE next step, says Golding. Opposition leader Mark Golding has indicated that the People's National Party PNP will be holding an executive meeting on Monday evening to determine its position on the state of public emergency ahead of Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. Golding, who is the PNP president, made the declaration while addressing a St. James Central Constituency Conference held at the Green Pond High School in Green Pond, St. James on Sunday evening. We understand the pain and the fear that the people are feeling because crime is out of control, but the way to solve it is not by abusing the Constitution. We'll be discussing this issue tomorrow night at a joint parliamentary executive meeting, and we'll take our decision as to what we'll do on Tuesday in the House when the resolution comes to extend the SOEs, Golding told supporters. Last week Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced the imposition of states of public emergency in St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and parts of Kingston and St. Andrew. That announcement came in response to an increase in criminal activity, including 1,360 murders recorded in Jamaica up to November 13 this year, a 6.8% increase when compared to 2021. Golding also blasted the ruling Jamaica Labour Party for its management of the crime portfolio and use of states of public emergency, while highlighting that the government currently has two appeals before the court in relation to the security measure. In June, the Supreme Court ruled that Emergency Powers Regulations 22 and 32, in respect to the fundamental right of freedom of movement, and Regulations 30, 33, and 38, in respect of the fundamental right to liberty, breach the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms of the Constitution. In sports news, Nicholas Purran resigns as West Indies captain. Cricket West Indies CWI confirmed today that Nicholas Purran has decided to relinquish the white ball captaincy of the West Indies men's team following the team's exit from the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2020 tournament just completed in Australia. Purran said he made the decision to give the team time to find its new leadership, with enough time to complete an organized restructuring before the white ball teams next reconvene. The former West Indies skipper also asked fans not to see his resignation as giving up because he still had every intention to continue contributing to the growth and development of West Indies cricket and his own personal game. Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams has thanked Purran for his services and believes in the young players' commitment to the teams. Last year and earlier this year, Purran led the West Indies in the absence of Kieron Pollard, enjoying a T20 International Series win against Australia at home 4-1. He was officially appointed West Indies men's white ball captain in May this year when Pollard stepped down. Overall, Purran led the team in 17 one-day internationals and 23 T20 internationals, recording series wins against the Netherlands 3-0 and Bangladesh 2-0. The West Indies men's next white ball series is against South Africa in March 2023. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.